Can't too far to turn back. The return of the lyricist. Get it together.
Yo, what's up? You're listening to You Good with Mike Brown, a mental health podcast. This episode, I talk with comedian Nina Daniels. Man, this is an episode. This is an episode. So before recording the episode, it was like an hour earlier, I had got a call that a really, really talented, funny, great person / comedian, Kevin Barnett, had passed away. I wasn't talking about it with anybody or posting about it on social media because, it was just, a homie calls and it's like, keep that info to yourself. And within that hour, people have been tweeting about it and posting it up everywhere. And so I was like, all right, well, I can talk about it. And I happened to have Nina as a guest. And because the comedy community, especially, for, black people who do like the alt scene, I guess primarily, and the mainstream scene, whatever, we both knew him. So I kind of broke the news to her minutes before we started recording. And so we started talking about that. But we also talk about, her growing up in Brentwood, Long Island, playing the cello, her bouncing back from oral cancer, and just like a lot of things, just black power, pride, maneuvering different areas of life and all that shit. So it's a dope episode. I liked it. I just want to let you guys know first that it was, it starts heavy. So yeah, but it ends on a laugh, I think. So so yeah, enjoy that episode. And I just want to personally say before we start, if you haven't heard of Kevin Barnett, definitely look him up on YouTube. And I dedicate this episode to him. I think it's a great episode. But the funny thing is if this episode sucks ass to you, if you're like, man, this shit is trash ass episode, like, Kevin would find that funny that I dedicated a trash episode to him. So yeah, hope y'all well. Check it out and let me know what you think. Yeah, so I got a call earlier today from one of my best friends in comedy, and he's like, yo, Kevin Barnett, he died. And you hear something like that, like, like for me, I was on my way to an audition, and like, when you speak to your boy and you can tell that vibe in their voice, something's off. Because first he called me and he's like, hey, what you doing right now? I'm like, oh, just getting coffee on the way to audition. He was like, all right, well, call me back after. But he sounded I gotta turn my phone. He sounded a little upset. He sounded like his vibe was off. Sounded like his vibe was off. So I was like, I'll call you after. So I get off the phone with him and I get my coffee. Literally pay for my coffee, and I'm like, nah, I don't know what's going on, but I need to know this right now because it's affecting him, right? So I call him like, yo, like, what's up? And he's like, yo, Kevin, Kevin Barnett died. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm still, like, this is still an hour about for me just getting this information. I had still got to work, did my audition. The person I auditioned with was somebody else who's like comedy adjacent who knew Kevin. And at this point, a lot of people wasn't talking about it because like it wasn't like public yet. And
I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I mean, like, this is.
Yeah, this is
I'm like on my thing. Like, is anybody talking about it?
Well, that's the thing. I called one of my boys, Brandon Collins, who, I did Comedy Outliers with him for like 6-7 years, and he used to be at College Humor with Kevin and Jermaine, like back in the day, and so Kevin was like somebody I met kind of through Brandon, but also, being in the city. It's kind of like all the black comics, kind of like we all find each other in a way. It's a weird thing. So when I was coming up, my big homies would be Jermaine, Kevin, Che, Keith and Kenny, you know, Lucas Brothers and all them, those were the big homies who were floating around. So like when I was getting my foot in the ground, they were looking out for me. But the thing with Kevin is that like he and I were so close in age, but he was beyond my years comedy wise, right? Because he was already in the game,
right? And
we both would talk about like video games all the time. We talk about being Jamaican and trying to figure out like the different things of humor and it's just like hearing this news, man. It like I'm not crying about it. I'm just talking all this stuff out.
Well, I'm in shock.
Yeah.
So I
need to talk.
You probably already went beyond the shock part. Yeah, you went. Yeah. I'm like, wait, how? I mean, like, I can't. I mean, I'm not saying how because I want to know how. I'm saying how because like, what? How does this happen? Do like I can't process it right now.
Yeah.
And it's not even like I knew Kevin super well, but I definitely was around. Like I remember doing my first show at UCB was with Kevin.
Yeah.
I remember because I was in LA until recently.
Yeah.
So I would always.
Because you're here now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always see Kevin. Like I mean, around. Always nice. I mean, always knew of him and what he was doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like.
Yeah. It's like hard to process on so many levels because it's like one side it's like that. Like we all knew him in the comedy community,
absolutely,
right? And
like, whether you were real cool with him or not, you knew him.
You knew him, yeah.
It
wasn't like who was it? William Stevenson passed away from The Cellar, right? He was one of the hosts of The Cellar, and I remember, and this was they want to say this is early this year. And I saw everybody doing the post, and I was going to put a post up like, oh, you know, R.I.P. to him, but I didn't know him. I've only seen him perform one time. And that time I saw him perform was early in the game. I went with my boy Ryan Beck. He was like, oh, you know, come with me to The Cellar. And I was like, okay. And I was always scared to go to The Cellar because it's like, oh, The Cellar. And I went there, and I saw how he hosted, and I was like, man, this is the funniest guy I've never seen. Right? And so, like, I wanted to say something like that, but I'm like, oh, I really didn't know the dude, and I know that, like, you know, as a comic, especially a black comic, you know, one of us goes, it's like, you know, we all feel, and I think sometimes we all jump in that kind of vibe.
Right.
But it's also like, I told you about this before, like when we met, we're like, my best friend was murdered. So like anytime like the RIP stuff goes, it's like, it's a weird thing for me because I'm like, I know the social media part about it, but also I'm not trying to do something for likes. Like if it's not my business, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But in this situation, it's just so, like, I remember times I've seen, it's just like one of those things where like, man, that was the homie. Like, it's like, it wasn't like how him and like I'm working on a project right now that is in a way inspired by what he did with Jermaine. Cause like when he did like the Bodega Cat Boys and he had like the gay thugs or whatever, which is funny before its time, and it was just like all that other shit, right? And it's like you see, oh, you got your mans and you can just work and do something with them, and to go from that and then to have a thing. I think it was like a deal with Comedy Central to do Legion of Goons, and and then that fall apart, and then to kind of regroup and then do Friends of the People, and then do that with even more of your friends. So you got Josh Rabinowitz, you get Lil Rel, you got all these people involved in that, and then from that to
him and Josh is who I mean, like I remember the day I met them.
Really?
Yeah. I remember that. Like,
where was it?
It was at UCB. I was doing Carol Clink's show.
Okay, if you build it.
Yeah, never forget that. I just like, it was actually one of my first shows in New York. It was my first show of like coming to the city and doing shows ever. Okay, and it was with them, and I never forget that. And they had just gotten a deal for
Friends.
It was post Friends.
Was this because I know Josh and Kevin had a deal with Comedy Central for I think their show that they were working on.
I think it was that. I think they had just announced it like that day.
Okay, yeah.
It was like all over.
Okay, so time wise, this is past Carmichael's show because I think Carmichael's show did its run, did 3 seasons because they were already writing on that. And or maybe it was like they 2 seasons running.
I think it might have been going still.
Okay, yeah, because I remember that deal like kind of started, but they still it was like this time between the Carmichael show happening and Rel's show being picked up that all that information with what they were doing was about to pop, and it was like, and I remember seeing him like, oh. But anyway, so you saw him. How was?
I remember like seeing them. I remember first of all, I remember reading about them.
Yeah. About
this deal they had. I hadn't met them yet. So I mean, now I just happened to read this the same day, and I'm like, oh my God, those are the guys who got that deal. Yeah. And it was like, I mean, Kevin was always mad because they were both real cool. They had this deal, but they were real like down to earth. Yeah. Every time I saw Kevin, I mean, I think I used to see him like with Hugh and Hugh Moore. Like I know Hugh Moore well. Like I know Jermaine. We did Hot Tub together. I think it was a Super Serious show. Okay. I mean, but I don't know Jermaine super well. But I mean, I've done shows with these guys. Yeah. But Hugh, I know a lot better. Yeah. So like I've seen these guys like hang out together. Like I kind of know what they're doing because like Hugh and watching social media. Like so it's a weird thing because I don't know him, but I know him. Yeah. It's
crazy because it's like I feel like in the same way where it's like okay, Jermaine and the Golden Lords, all them, like they have their crew, and that's
that tight crew. Which
that
like,
tight crew.
It's impressive. You know what I mean?
It's especially in this industry. It's impressive, right? Like it's just like I look at that, and I'm like every time I was like, yo, y'all doing it the right way. Like
man,
the people you started with, and you're bringing like. I remember, I did an episode of Friends of the People with Kevin and Jermaine just off the strength of. Kevin had came to one of my the shows I was on. I was doing Big Pony, like I was producing whatever. Right. So like in all my rooms were kind of like open invite rooms. Like I would book it, but like the homies like that, like yeah, you just come through. And so like he would come through, kick it, whatever. And he was like, yo, can you do a Will Smith impression, whatever? And I just did like some stupid grunt. He was like, okay, great, you'll get an email. And then like I got booked to do the show. Yeah, but it's just like, but that's the kind of person that he was, where he was like, all right, well, let me try to keep this in the family with people who know how to work, and also understanding that like this might be just this little part for him, but this can potentially change his life, and in a way that it started to, because now I'm working with this casting director. Now I have this thing that it ended up being like a Funny or Die exclusive, and then I started having a relationship with Funny or Die. It's like all these little things start happening from that, but it's like, oh yeah, just because of the homie looking out. Right. And it's just like so fucked up because it's like
wow.
It's like this is shock. Like we are legit.
I mean it's shock, but most of like in shock because I know like some of his boys. Yeah. So I can't even imagine what they're going through right now.
And what do we do? Like what do you like? It's like what
I can't even
recourse we got like.
Because I barely knew him. I feel like this, so I can't imagine
how they feel.
I can't even imagine.
I called. I was speaking to Brandon right before I came upstairs, and he was somebody I called before like the news kind of was public, because like when I heard it was like, hey, my boy, someone was like, oh, like you got to keep this low, whatever. Like nobody's posting whatever. I was like, true. I was like, I'm not saying shit until. Like Jermaine says something. Like if I don't see Jermaine or Gerard or Rel or anybody who's in that circle post anything off strength, I'm not posting shit, because I'm not that close with him to
I hear you,
start that wave off.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Then I go on Twitter and I just kind of like tweet this cryptic shit because I'm trying to like express it, because you want to share it but you can't. So I'm just like, hey, we had inside jokes about being Jamaican, and he looked out for me there. I didn't put in any names, so like if you're just reading it, you're just like, that's a weird ass fucking tweet, and even if you knew him, you still, unless you knew, you didn't know who I was talking about. Like you can connect the dots and be like, oh shit, but only if you knew that he had passed already. That was the only way you'd be able to connect those dots. So it was kind of like one of those things where like, hey, I know a lot of us, or like a few, whoever, we all can't say this thing and grieve together. There's a few of us and we're trying to like going through processing all this shit together, especially in the comedy community. And I call Brandon. I'm like, yo, man, it's like this is, Anyway, he couldn't pick up the phone. So I have another group chat with a lot of other comics, like my homies, and. Still haven't said anything to them, because it's like I know all those guys, but I can't just throw that in the group chat, because that's such a crazy thing to text somebody. Yeah. Like it's one of those things where it says it does all trickle down, and you do kind of get the vibe of it, of like, oh, this is really happening, and it's just so nuts, and it's just like it kind of I'm more angry right now than anything, and it's fucked up because it's like I'm angry because even though he's done so much dope shit, I feel like he had so much more to give.
Oh my God!
Right? It's just like, man, y'all missed it. Like, you fucking bastards.
That was the beginning.
It was just.
Even though he had done stuff, that was just the beginning. He's super talented. I think that was just the beginning for him. Even though he had done a lot. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so much more. He kind of reminded me like one of those people who could have been like, like Robert Towns has been around forever and just kept growing, kept getting better. Those guys who just be around for a minute, just keep getting better and better, and just always producing dope stuff, always, working on dope projects, and seeing him do it with his boys, Yeah,
it's just so frustrating, especially like when you're black and you're in this comedy thing, and it's like sometimes they don't even look at you as an artist. They don't look, you know what I mean? Like, and we'll get to that, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and we got to talk about that stuff too. But it's just like, I know, like I had planned when, because, we've been going back and forth about hey, when we're going to do this, when we're going to do this. Right, and it was like this whole thing of we did a few episodes early, and then we kind of stopped recording because there was other things I had to take care of. Took care of that, and now the podcast is officially out. I got my slot here to record, and that's why I was like, oh, okay, now I can. I'm not
I know
trying
you
to say whatever.
We here every Tuesday from 3 to 5. I'm like, he's good.
Yeah, I'm good.
He's ready.
I'm good. I'm ready to do it. Let's come, let's record. And it's like, it's just such a man. It's from the personal standpoint of the homie. It's like, man, that fuck. You know what I mean? It's not like I would him and I would kick it outside just us,
right.
But it's one of those things when you're in this kind of industry. Okay, so for people if anyone's listening, right? It's like, imagine you got your office, right, and you got your work friends, right? Now imagine that instead of working in an office, you work in the world. That's literally what it is. So it's like instead of that dude who sits next to you, who you talk shit with, whatever, every day, it's like you might go to a show and there's somebody there that you can just kick the shit with. You guys both know you're working, but y'all kick that shit. You know what I mean? Right. And so it's and it was the level of work friends were oh, I would hang out with this person legit outside of work. We just really haven't had a reason to too crazy. I mean, there'd be times we'd be bumping into each other parties and shit.
People, you'll have a good time with them at that moment.
Yeah.
But you just never really, for reason, you just never be
oh, you want to hang out?
You never do it outside of that, outside of our world.
Exactly. You never, you never kind of
and then
take
a couple
it to
people
the next level.
I'm I love this person. Every time I see him, I love him. I'm why do we never hang out?
Yeah. And that's the thing, because it's sometimes you don't. And even for me, it's sometimes you don't know if it's all right, if this is the comedy version of that person, am I really ready to meet the because if working in the world is work, right? We all different people outside of work. You know what I mean? And some of us, I mean, I'm more super laid back, and I'll talk shit with people, but when I'm in comedy mode, I'm more willing to say whatever I want and just be free, because I'm we're all just having fun, and we all know shit is crazy, so let's just have some fun. But it just really, I remember him doing this joke about him hating Halloween because he always wanted to go as Wolverine and not Black Wolverine. And I remember hearing that, I was oh, that's fucking great. You know what I mean? And that talks about the racial dynamics and all these things.
Right.
And he was part of that new wave of of comedians who, to me, made me feel okay, yeah, so there is, it sounds stupid, but there are other people like me. You know what I mean? Where it's
no, that's not stupid.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, yeah, I mean, even
they
you,
were those people who were oh, wow. Yeah, that's true, though.
You never, I mean, even for you, and I want to talk about, I want to talk about just mental health in general,
right,
with you, but also, as an artist, you have so many different niche kind of things that all make up you. And I feel all of those things feel not traditionally in the popular black space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely not.
Is that the way to?
that is so accurate.
Okay. Like, did that make sense?
That is quite accurate.
Okay. So talk about those. Like, what when you play the cello?
I play the cello.
Well, okay. So when we met, we were both got this call back for this commercial where we had to like cough or some shit.
Right.
Yeah. And it was just like so funny because like you had this big ass.
Jerry was with me.
Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry with the G. He was with me. Yes.
And I was like, yo, I don't know what's happening.
That's how most of our people feel about me and Jerry. I don't know what's happening.
Yo, I've never seen it's like I've never like seen a cello like right there, and I've nenever seen it like attached to a black woman.
I'm trying to say, where was I going? I definitely had something else I was doing.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I had Jerry with me.
Well, we had the audition, and then I think we went to like Starbucks or whatever and just
I remember all of that.
Yeah,
I think I had a show that night.
Yeah.
I don't think I was doing Caroline's, but I think I was doing maybe Vintage Basement or something. Yeah, I definitely had.
Yeah, but we were like talking about that thing of like not almost like the existence between the two worlds, but just like how important. I mean, this was before like the podcast came out. I don't even know if I taped episodes then. I might have taped a few.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, but basically I was saying like, oh, I got this thing coming out. It's probably gonna come out sometime, maybe next month or whatever. And
you
it
were
was
talking
so long.
about.
Yeah, but I was like, this is the thing I wanted. Yeah, like this is going to happen. I'm gonna do a podcast where I'm talking about mental health myself. I'm talking with other people. Yeah, and you were like, what?
Well, I mean, a black man talking about mental health. I mean, black people talking about mental health. I think that's great.
Yeah. I'm also trying to like keep it open for like it's one of those things where it's like I want to talk to everybody about it because sometimes I feel it gets like real clinical with certain people. You know, like when I listen to like I don't see fucking shit because I'm not trying to make it sound racist, but like when I listen to like white podcasts talk about it, sometimes I'm so far away from that base reality.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that.
Where it's like, okay, I get what you guys are saying, but like you're not saying it in a way that I can understand. Like there's so many other struggles that I'm dealing with that I gotta wade through before I even get to your
First of all,
baseline zero.
Half of us don't even know that we have mental health issues. We wouldn't even know what depression. What does that mean?
Yeah,
like half of people don't even know. I don't have time to know if I have that or not. I got shit to do.
Yeah, what was your like first like mental health like bouts and shit like?
I think for me it's actually interesting because as a child I was always like the most confident person in the room. I was the ugliest kid ever though. I mean like I was so unattractive. I can't even tell you. No, like. I was
because you
really,
look good. You look good.
You know,
no sexual harassment. You know
what? There's hope. You know what it is? There's hope for people. That's all I'm saying. If your kid came out ugly, just know there's hope for them. I was an ugly ass kid, and I think I turned out okay, good enough. I will say that. I mean, for where I started, what a miracle. But I was a super confident kid. Always confident. Always, I was really smart, so I knew I had that arena on lockdown. Yeah. You can say whatever you want, but you weren't going to get better grades than me. And then I was an athlete too. Okay. So you weren't, I mean, I was All-American by the time I was 13 years old. You weren't, like in that arena, I was crushing life. But where I had, which in retrospect, at the time I did not know, I was having a bout with mental illness, but it was, I got cancer when I was 16.
Wow. Okay.
And everything that I had known had been turned upside down. Okay. So I'm self-diagnosing myself here. Yeah. But I believe that I went through a period of depression. Okay. Because I went through a period, one, I was deformed because of the surgeries. I could not smile or use the left side of my face. Wow. It took me about 3 years to smile again.
Really?
Yeah. So, I play the cello. So my left arm, because of the nerve damage from the surgeries, I couldn't even lift my arm above my head. Wow. So I couldn't really play. Yeah. I need this hand to, finger.
You got shit to do.
So I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I look like a scarecrow. I'm like, I can't move. So, you go from being always in shape, always on top of everything, to now, and then this is what really messed me up. I was missing tons of school. Okay. But my parents, they don't really believe in sympathy or pity, so they didn't tell anybody I had cancer. So I'm missing classes. My teachers are like, what's going on? I wasn't getting my homework. Oh, my God. So my grades were like teetering. And I never forget, I was in English class, AP English, and my teacher said to me, "You're lazy, and maybe in your household, maybe your people accept that." I was like, because I had to rush into a paper. I didn't know the paper was
Where
due.
was this? Where was this?
Well, first I'm from Long Island.
Okay, so you give me Long Island. Okay, yeah. So you're one of the only. You're one of the.
I'm the only black person in the honors program on my side of the school. We have 2 schools together. So in Ross, I was the only black person in the honors program of a school that was majority Latino. You gotta love it, right?
Yeah. Oh fuck. Okay. All right. So, okay.
But the honors program primarily white.
Yeah.
Maybe one Latino, one Asian chick whose parents owned the Chinese restaurant. Like that was like that was the demographic and dynamic there.
Yeah.
So I never forget. Like so
she told you, she was like, "Yo, you're lazy. I don't know if y'all go with that."
And I have a like, you know how you say in school I was always in my best behavior.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of mouth.
Okay.
Outside, like, you know, when it came to like, I was really shy, but when it came to competition, I would go for it. But my parents always warned me, don't even talk back in class ever.
Really?
So I left the classroom right then. I called my mother. I was like, look, my teacher thinks I'm lazy. You don't understand. A kid who is always on top of things to call me lazy and say my people might accept that. Yo, she was like, that was the most racist shit I ever heard in my life.
I don't know. She was like, I step away. I don't know what you niggas do at home.
But let me tell you, my mom was notorious for coming up to the school. Like in split seconds.
Yeah.
My parents did not mess around. But like, they would call my dad and be like, Mr. Daniels, can you come? Because they didn't want to mess with my mom. My mom, I knew she was at school because I heard her. I heard her down the hall yelling. And she told, and then she says, how dare you? Now, her work may not have been great. I saw the paper.
Yeah.
It was not a good paper.
Yeah.
She rushed. I can see where she rushed. I can see where it was incoherent, such and such. But I don't understand how you equate this paper with her people.
Yeah.
And my mom goes, and by the way, she has cancer. That's why she hasn't been here. And the teacher just starts crying.
That's why I ain't tell nobody, because they was waiting for the right moment.
Yo, that was like perfect comedy timing. It was like, bam. And there's the punch.
Oh my God.
So,
oh my God.
So for me, I had to go through a lot of things. That made me an introvert, which I'm not an introvert.
Yeah, you don't have. I think it's also like that introvert, like extrovert shit is like kind of based on your surroundings. This might sound dumb. Like, and also when this is a random aside, I feel like there's going to be a time when people listen to this podcast and it's going to be like legit doctor people, and they're going to be like, Mike is so dumb, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. But that's why this is like there's no doctors and shit in here. Like, I just like to talk. So for you, right? Was your depression, or did you feel that you had your depression before the diagnosis, when you were just like kind of not going to school, or was it still like a thing of like?
Well, I was going to school up until I had surgeries.
Oh, so once the surgery happened, that's when things started changing.
I was killing life.
Okay.
I was the queen of living. Like literally, I was killing life. As a matter of fact, I got diagnosed a week after my cotillion, my sweet 16.
Okay.
So I just had this big party.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was super hot.
Okay.
He was shipped in from Philly.
Okay.
Like I was
importing him.
Like,
okay.
Yeah,
Import
I was like,
dick.
come
okay.
on.
All right.
I was doing it big. He was a football player going to UVA. I was like, I was killing it.
Okay.
I was crushing life at the country club. Just had
you're just in all the spaces.
I was doing it big, So, but what was hard is nobody prepared me for failure. And nobody prepared me for there will be a time when you won't be at your best.
So were you crushing it the whole time?
Yeah. Like I never had a dull moment. I mean, even when I had a dull moment, it was still a high moment. You know what I mean? Like my low moment was better than a lot of people's best.
Wow.
But I was also very driven, trained really hard. I mean, we were like, I don't know, like 7-time county champs. Last time we won the counties was right before I had cancer. So I mean, I had a lot of things that were right. I mean, I had personal things that were not right now.
Yeah.
Within my family, with my family dynamic, which also probably added to the big crash. At that time that I was in the hospital, my parents were separated. So it all happened at the same time. So it was like life is boom, 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 boom. And I'm not saying that things didn't happen, but I didn't process them in that way.
Yeah.
Like to me, I was still on top of it.
So this is like surgery time.
That's when everything fell apart.
So how did you I guess like what helped you keep your wits after that time? Like, you know, you have the surgery, everything's kind of falling apart. Like, what is your day-to-day?
I had a couple because it took them 2 years, 3 years to diagnose me.
Okay.
My mom fought with the doctors to get them to, because I had a lump in my throat.
Yeah.
And she was like, it keeps growing and I don't like it. And the doctor said, but it's benign, because they would do these needle biopsies. Okay. And they would keep coming back. The results would keep coming back benign. And my mom was like, that can't be benign. Why is it growing? And my mom's crazy. Thank God she's a crazy person, because she all up in your shit. Like, what you got on your neck? Like, you couldn't have hickeys in my house. That was never going to happen. My mom was all up in your stuff. Like, so she would just be looking at me and she was like, I don't like it. So her and this doctor went back and forth. And finally, she was like, I don't care what y'all say. I want it out. I want it out now. Wow. She was like, I don't care if she's scarred. I don't care what happens. I want it out. And thank God she was so adamant about that, because I had my Sweet 16. I got it out maybe a couple days after. I was supposed to go back 2 weeks later. I got a call in 48 hours. You got to come back in. Wow. And, you know, when you're 16, you don't really understand what that means, but
I don't understand it now. I don't know what's going on.
From my parents' demeanor, like my parents just looked like somebody just took the life out of them. Yeah. I mean, they just like deflated. Fuck. When we get in the call and watching them just go poof, like it was like you could feel the heaviness. Yeah. The way. So, yeah, I think that even if I had been going through things prior to that, I don't think I ever allowed myself to process those things, because I had enough great things going on to balance it. But when you go through that, I had never, I was out of shape because I couldn't train. So when I was trying to come back, I had never been out of shape in my life. I started running track when I was 5 years old, so I didn't know what that was like. So I couldn't perform at my best. I was suffering in class, and my family life was suffering. So everything that I depended on was gone. And I'm a stutterer, which is why I became kind of an introvert. And the surgery made my speech impediment worse.
That's great. Things are just going great in your life.
And I really wanted to be an actor.
Tell me these happy things.
I really wanted to be an actor, and I was in speech. And I was like, oh, I'm getting so much better. And then I had this surgery. Of course, it's in my neck, what affects the nerves in my face, what affects my tongue. Half of my tongue is numb. I mean, I couldn't even drink a soda. Shit would be dripping down my face. And my friends would be like, yo, get that. You're drooling.
Oh, my God.
You got stuff. I mean, food would just be coming out I couldn't control. Yeah. Like my face was so crooked. God. My lip was hanging. I could not feel a thing on that side.
This was like after the surgery?
Yeah.
Or like,
and then I went to school like this. I was just like, I mean, I'm 16. I don't even know how I made it through.
But you had that party first, though.
I did. Like, I remember being a princess. And then, I mean, I'm going to tell my dad right now. I don't care. The world's going to hear this anyway. But there was a movie that I had not watched yet called Mask.
Okay. Was it a Jim Carrey movie?
No, Mask was like this movie. I think it was called The Mask. It's about a kid with elephantitis. And his name was Rocky. So my dad would be like, there's my little Rocky. And I thought he meant like, because I'm winning, Rocky, you know, like Rocky Balboa, Rocky.
You never give up.
No, he was talking about Rocky from this movie, this kid who had elephantitis, because my face was so deformed that is what I look like to him.
I love your dad, but that's kind of trash.
No, my dad is my dad's the reason I'm a comedian right now.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
My dad keeps shit real. Like you can't.
Oh yeah, we're looking at the pictures now, so it makes a little more sense as I'm seeing it. That's
so yeah. So like at that time, you know, I wanted to be an actor, and I'm like, oh, but I gotta be able to speak. Yeah. Yeah, you know. So it was a interesting road back, because my cancer actually wasn't really that bad. It was the surgery, coming back from the surgeries. I mean, when you have oral cancer, a lot of times you will live, but sometimes they remove your jaw. Like you'll see people like it's the surgeries and what they do to your body coming back from that is not always the easiest.
What then? How so? How long did it take to come back? Like a few years, 3 years? You said?
Well, it took me about 5 years.
5 years to get back to get to a point where you're like, all right.
Where my face was like kind of still not totally even.
Wow.
Like the left side of my face still like my lip still droops.
Wow.
When I'm completely relaxed, so like going into auditions, I have to like just go. You don't see me do it,
just
but like,
pointing up.
I just push my lip up real quick so that
Fix it.
I fix it before we start speaking. But I earn every job I get. Okay.
Oh my God.
Every job.
Oh my God. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things where it's like it's not funny,
though.
but it's
so
funny.
It's
like
so ridiculous.
That's what's one of those things. It's like that's what I think I love about comedy, and even like talking with other comedians, because like we could look at some of the worst shit and just be like, man, that shit's nuts.
Right.
It's just like, this is just so horrible. It's just like it's laughable. Like, what are you gonna do?
And it is like when I think about like how crazy I looked and how like I would just be eating and food would just be coming down the side of my face because I couldn't control that side of my face, and my poor people, like, we're sitting there having dinner and this shit just like come on, get that, man. My friends would be funny with it too. Nobody around me, they didn't hold any punches. Nobody was like, oh man, Nina, you got cancer. They were like, yo, your face is fucked up. Like that's what I had around me. My dad calling me, Rocky, and like, yeah, I had like, I had people keeping it very real, a little too real, but real.
But that to me, I feel like, and this is okay.
It brought me back quicker though.
See, but that's the thing. It's like, I think in like, almost like the Black community, but like, when people keep it real with you, everyone knows base level there's a problem that needs to be fixed.
True.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
It's like if your face, it's like, yo, your face kind of fucked up, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fucked up to kind of be like, oh, wait. But it's like, yeah, your face fucked up. It's like, yeah, we all know it. We're not going to keep bringing it up, but we're going to say your face is fucked up.
Like,
and
my face was fucked up, but nobody asked why I was like that. No one ever asked how to get like that. I mean, there are people I knew who I competed with. They didn't know until years later, even more recent. They're like, oh, we didn't know that's what happened to you. You had cancer.
Yeah, we just thought that was your face. And it's cool.
And I said to my mom, I was so pissed because I'm like, yo, you have pictures of me? She was like, we didn't do morbid stuff like that back then. I'm like, damn, I really want those pictures.
Damn.
She was like, that's so morbid. Who does that? We didn't do that. We would never do that to you. I'm like, I wish you did.
Yeah.
I really
I would like to have some memories.
Yeah, I want those memories.
Yeah, I don't have any, I barely have pictures either of like growing up.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's so weird, right?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like, God, I don't think my parents, I mean, even though like my mom and dad split, like they never like took.
But I had pictures of me competing.
Of course, because that's the competition is like, if you're kicking ass like that, you need to document that. You know what I mean?
Like clippings and all that stuff. But I mean, so I think like, just to circle back to what you asked me initially, a lot of the things I was dealing with came after. It was the aftermath. And it actually happened when they told me I was going to survive. That's when I fell apart. Because up until the last surgery, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. And then the last one was so bad. I'm like, I'm dying. I know I'm dying. They're like, no, you're going to live. I'm like, no, I'm definitely dying. I could not move my face. My face was so swollen. It had to be literally 3 times the size of my face right now. Like, it was, and I couldn't move my mouth. It was just like, I thought somebody had killed me. Damn. I mean, I woke up, apparently in the recovery room, I woke up screaming from my mom, which I think is miraculous because I said, how the hell did I scream? Because I could barely open my mouth. Once that anesthesia wore off, I was like, I don't know what to say. I couldn't even talk. I mean,
you know what, that's alone, yeah.
So I don't know how I screamed.
Oh, my God.
The adrenaline or something, because of the drugs.
That guy, oh, fuck.
But yeah, I had like a very like...
So how'd you pivot into comedy from all that shit?
A couple of years after that was a rough couple of years.
What was going on? I want to hear about the rough.
Now.
What was?
I was just wild.
Let's talk about that. You said okay, cool. I mean, okay.
I was wild.
We'll infer. All right. You was out here. All right.
I was in them streets.
Okay, you was in these streets. Okay. Importing them from VA. I see what you're doing. You was out here.
But I wound up pulling it together. I ran track in college.
Yeah.
Then I wound up going to Brown.
Yeah.
To get my master's. I mean, I
brought it back.
I brought it back around.
You so talented, Tenthy. Look at you. I know the younger listeners are like, what is he talking about?
I know.
Google it.
No idea.
Google it. Google that shit. All right? The secret's on the internet, baby. Google that shit. I'm trying to learn y'all something, man. Come on. Stay woke, man. Stay woke the whole time. All right? Google it. So now,
That's
like,
wild.
being in New York, like, how is it for you, I guess, like, your like kind of mental space of the scene? Because like even when we met and I was telling you, I was like, hey, welcome to New York, let's just chop it up. But I was like, but it's not, you might not get somebody else who's gonna say that. And it was like, and me as a New Yorker who lives here, who knows I'm not moving out of here, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm always gonna be here. I don't know what other comics are still gonna be here, but I'm always gonna be here. I might get a place out in LA eventually or whatever, but this is my home that I care about. Like, I'm not here for comedy.
That's awesome. You're here for life.
Yeah, I'm here for life. Like, my family's here.
That's a keynote. You're here for life.
Bars.
And that's real. I mean, being back has been interesting because I left LA because I got divorced.
Yeah.
And also, I had been wanting to leave LA. I had been wanting to come back to New York. My reps at the time were not keen on me coming back to New York.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where my heart is. This is where my voice is.
Yeah.
So since I've been back, actually, you know, I met a couple of black comics.
Oh boy.
And people have been great.
Okay, cool.
No.
All right, great. The homies.
Really great. I think
this current or next generation, like I think like Marie, Faust and Sydney and Amin and them. You know them? Okay. They're cool.
I know of them.
Okay. Who are the people who are like looking out, if you want to shout them out real quick, since
Black people?
Yeah. I mean any people. But black people encouraged. What piece of shit, right?
All right, so with anybody, I would definitely say Tim Dillon.
Oh, Tim's great. Tim's great.
A fellow Long Islander.
Yeah.
We did a White show together
Yeah.
a while ago, and that was when I met Kevin and them.
Oh, okay.
Was at that time.
Okay.
He gave me like a lot of like, you know, referrals.
Yeah. That's all this shit is.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, that was great. Jody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Robinson, yeah, he good, yeah.
I would say he's been the most supportive.
Yeah.
Off the bat.
Yeah.
I would say like those people.
He's
I would
upcoming.
say like Mike Kaplan.
Okay.
Gosh,
you're such in a weird like outside looking in. You're such in a unique, weird position because it's like
I don't know if that's good.
I mean, I don't know if it's good. I mean, it's your career, nigga. I don't know what it's. You know what I mean? You put yourself where you want to be, but like in the sense of like because it's like I feel that in like LA is such a totally different scene, right? And you were coming up during the time when I feel like the LA alt scene was really kicking ass, where it's like, you know, you had the Meltdown show, you had a lot of like ancillary shows like Hot Tubs and all that shit.
I came in on like the tail end. Does the alt scene really end? But I felt like I came in like right
where it was like kind of going.
Yeah. You know, doing Mark Maron's show was like, even though it's so funny because he doesn't consider himself alt at all.
Really?
He doesn't even like alt, but he's alt.
He is so alt. I mean, alt is basically
like,
the alternative from the mainstream. And so the definition of mainstream will always change because it's like shit, hip hop is mainstream now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
so
exactly.
the alts for...
But he's in the Comedy Store now. Like, that's his spot. Like, that's what he loves.
Okay.
But I feel like the comedy world sees his show, doing his show as alt.
Yeah. Even though it's at the store? That's weird.
No, his TV show.
Oh, the TV show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was on his TV show, and I think like that to me, I always thought
weird
he was
flex,
alt.
but okay.
I always thought he was alt.
That's not a weird flex. That's like a regular ass flex, but okay.
I was like, I thought like he was really an alt comic. In my opinion, I thought he was.
I think he is now.
No, but he's a mainstream comic. If you ask him, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he would like being in that. You know,
no, comedians.
The whole, you know, but for me, I started, very much in the alt world.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the real world of comedy for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I did a show with Rachel Bloom, who did
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah. From that show, I met a dude named Drennan Davis, and from that time forward, I was kind of thrust in that world. I didn't even know what alt meant.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was alt comic, first of all. I was like, I just know I'm doing these cool shows with these cool people at these cool places, and I get to bring my cello.
Yeah.
So these are the people who embraced, although I will say clubs embraced it too. The Improv passed me early on. You know, I mean, I don't know if they have a passing process really in Hollywood, but, you know, I got paid to go up. So whatever that process is.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing that kind of stuff. So I was doing clubs. I was doing the store. I was doing that. I was doing the Improv. So I was doing both, really. But I will say, like, to me, doing, like, the Meltdown was, like, the ultimate alt show.
Yeah.
So getting to do that before they closed down.
I mean, they had a show on Comedy Central, I think, for, like, a season or two.
But, like, getting to do the Meltdown, doing their live show was, like, for me, was the ultimate for the alt scene. And after that, I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go back into the club. Like,
I've done all I can do here.
Well, because, like, the clubs, everybody said my act was an alt act. But I didn't really agree. And then when I started doing clubs, I'm like, hell no. I need some alcoholics watching this shit. Like, I need people who are drinking. Because how they process it and how they absorb it is totally different than how the alt scene, I think the alt scene appreciates it. Yeah. Because they kind of understand it. But the club scene, they appreciate it for many different reasons.
I love both scenes for different reasons.
Absolutely, you have to, because it's so different. The crowds are so different, and I love them both. I actually love the comedians a lot in the alt scene because they're kind of like me.
Everybody's a weirdo in the alt scene.
Socially, I'm like, I get these people. Like, these are my people.
Socially, we're all weirdos over there. It's like, man, what the fuck is wrong with them? Just like, they're literally just being themselves.
Right.
And once you understand, like, oh, that's just their vibe. They're not doing a quote unquote thing. That's just who they are. Oh,
I feel like I'm like split between this socially awkward self of me, but then this person who has had success in terms of, because I was an athlete, I was treated as a very cool person. Yeah. You know, I had a cotillion. I'm in a sorority. Yeah. You're in sorority? I'm an AKA.
Oh, we're not talking about that.
So, like, because I've done a lot of what you would consider mainstream non-alt things, like pledging. All people really don't pledge and, sorority. Yes. It's like the antithesis of, like...
As a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, I will say that pledging is... Oh, yes. I will say that... Oh, my... I'm just saying. Pledge. What? No, nobody's in trouble. No suspend nobody. Don't get nobody. I came in on suspension. Anyway. But yeah, it's like, I so empathize with that, because it's like... in like the real non-comedy world, it's like you not like that person, but you're just confident and you're just being yourself and you're doing your thing, and then you're like, hey man, I want to do some comedy, and you have all these fun ideas that you want to do, and then it's kind of like, and this is I think a detriment to me in a way, you come into this comedy thing and it's like people who are, I feel in some ways, either not as funny or less talented or not successful or just whatever as people. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But they try to haze you, and I'm like, you ain't. I've been in the booth. Like, you ain't gonna try to make me feel.
They definitely tried to haze me.
Yeah, like you're not gonna put me through a process, because I've done a process for a thing I want. Comedy is given to me. I've been funny. You ain't gonna tell me what's not funny and where I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna ask you and you're
not asking their permission.
I'm gonna hang out
to do you.
Yeah, like I'm gonna hang out to get up on your show and there's like 10 people in the audience. No. When I could do a show with the homies who are like, man, we got 200 people here, everybody ready to go, and they want me because they know, not on the homie level, but like, yo, Mike, you get busy. Right. It's like, so it's just a weird thing, and now I'm learning even to play the game part. So even like when we talked about the first time, it was just about like representation and all those other things. It's like, that's a whole nother world that I'm now navigating. You know what I mean?
When I got my reps, I wasn't even trying to get reps. They were like, how you go? Like, I don't know. They showed me a show. Is that how you do it? I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because you were already working and going through doing the meltdowns and all that. But like people who might not know you as a person or a comedian, they're going to be like, oh, she either fucking, she either
No, not me. Me? I don't think so. I don't think they think that.
They might not. I'm just saying. Like, if we're gonna go, I'm just thinking of all the hater things that people could say. They're gonna be like, oh, they're paying to get
with my cello.
With the cello.
I think they probably think I'm a little different.
Maybe they're saying, just because she has that cello. So like they don't even look at the talent. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying everything.
Sure.
I'm not saying that specifically, but like
I don't think
of that.
Like I've slept my way to the top. I've definitely gotten probably that I played my way to the top.
Yeah, but anything that's other than, oh, Nina's talented, that's why she got there, is like a little bit of the hate, where it's like, oh no, it's just because she's a black woman. You know what I mean? Like,
let me tell you, it could. Forget about just the black world. Like, I'm a musical comedian.
Yeah,
I am a musical comedian. Yet, in that world, if you notice, how many black music comedians are there? Craig Robinson,
Lil Duval now,
Reggie.
Lil Duval. I keep saying Lil Duval.
I see you. I hear you.
Living my best life.
But females, they're really,
I'm not going back and forth with you niggas.
There's not really any females. They're not a ton of females.
You mean we talking about black?
Musical comedy.
I mean, musical comedy. I say there's Reformed whores, Katie Marie, right. But they're not. I mean, they're not that level. Like, and also Garfunkel and Oates.
Right, but none of them are ever black. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're talking about black specifically.
So it's really interesting that I have this act, but what I love in New York is that people will come on stage, like a host or whomever, or another comic come on and be like Big J. Okerson came on and was like, y'all can't try and normalize this shit. You just saw a black woman with a cello talking about how much she loved Yo-Yo Ma. This shit ain't normal. Yeah. She's like, so I'm like, it's interesting how, like, I feel like if I had that same act and I wasn't black, it would be a very different ballgame.
Well, I think if you did, you would probably, you think it'd be better for you? Or do you think how do you think it'd go?
Either way.
What would you think?
Go either way.
Give me both scenarios.
I think that a lot of talented musical comedians, I mean, there are, we do exist, but I think because they kind of think we're already talented as musical people,
you don't get that.
It's not as impressive, maybe. I hate to say this. It's almost like, well, they should be able to do that because they are musically inclined. I mean, it's almost like they're not even putting you down. They're actually lifting you up like, oh, well, great.
It's like, I'm a basketball playing comedian, so
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's like you're supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's dribbling a ball. That's what they all do. He's also telling jokes. I don't know what's
I'm like the basketball playing comedian of musical comedy. That's who I am. I like that. That is who I am.
I think it's so funny because it's like,
but it's also helped me too. So
Okay, so yeah.
So I can't really judge it. I don't really know, but it has definitely helped me a lot. I definitely think I did Meltdown 4 years into comedy. Like, I mean, I did a lot of things early on. You know, the improv. I mean, Emily, God bless her heart, she's now at the Comedy Store, but she was one who got me like my first paid spot at the improv. So I think my act has helped me a lot, but it's also kind of made me a little bit where I think comics, it takes them a minute to sit there and be like, they have to really watch it and hear it and be like, oh, she actually writes. Yeah. She actually has jokes. So I think their initial thing is, nah, we ain't messing with that.
Of course.
I don't know, like she doing some old, but I've definitely got a lot of love and I've got some hate too though,
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you still getting hate? Are you still getting hate now in New York or not?
New York has been great, actually.
Okay.
New York has been, like, for the shows that I have been able to get on, like Caroline's, they keep putting me up. I'm always having great shows there.
Good.
I mean, I've been doing even better than I could have imagined because I'm a New Yorker. And I'm talking about stuff like being from Brentwood. Yeah. And for people who don't know Brentwood, Long Island, but there are people in the audience who will know Brentwood, Long Island, or know of Brentwood.
And I'm going to let you slide saying New York because even though it's Long Island, it is not the main. I got you. I'm just saying, I'm letting you know.
If you see my Instagram says I'm a Long Island bap.
Okay.
That is, I'm a Long Island chick. Like, I claim, even in my song, I'm like, straight out of Brentwood. I'm a Brentwood chick. Like, I'm a Long Island girl. I ain't even trying to claim your stink ass city. So just go ahead.
Okay, good. Because we tax you when you come in here. That's what we do. You can leave for free, nigga, but when you come in here.
I didn't even try to claim, I'm like, no, I'm a Long Islander. That's a whole different
breed. But it's still New York though. It's like,
I mean, it's only still New York because my parents are cultured and I had, cousins and people who live in the city.
Yeah.
So we actually went, because they're Long Islanders who never left Suffolk County.
Yeah, they stay
never
right there.
left Long Island.
Never on the Long Island Railroad.
They were like, we drove to Queens. What? Like, wow. They're like, we're not going to the big city. You know what's in the big city? You mean that thing that's right there? Like, yeah. So I was fortunate enough to really like have opportunities to, and I ran track in the city a lot. So I was in the city. Friends, my first boyfriend, who's my current boyfriend, was from Harlem. So I was hanging out in Harlem as a kid.
Okay, Harlem.
So yeah, so I was lucky. I got exposure. I was really fortunate.
Yeah.
And my dad's from the city, so he was like, "Nah, let her rock in the city." My mom was like, "No, she's from Virginia." She's like, "That's dangerous." Yeah. My dad's like, "No, that's life. Let her do her thing.
Let her do her fucking thing."
So yeah, I got really fortunate in that sense. But my act is, I love it though. I mean, I feel like New Yorkers have been like, they just been embracing it, and I've gotten meetings, a lot of meetings just from doing the act. Yeah. So it's just like,
There is industry here. I think that people, I don't want to say people don't realize it, but there's a lot of... I
didn't even think about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't think about it and you just start rocking, it's like, they all start popping up. Like, okay, there you are.
I just literally came here to be able to hone my voice in my home.
Yeah, you came for the right reasons. You came for the right reasons. I mean, it's like, it's the total opposite of like comics that go to LA, because usually people go to LA for the opportunities, where people, I think, come to New York as like the gym. You know what I mean? Like there are opportunities here, but it's like, no, there's so many stage time opportunities that you can get better as an artist, and not just like...
And also, too, not just New York. Like, on the East Coast, you can hit so many spots.
Oh, yeah.
Like, LA, you can't really hit... SF is 6 hours away.
Crazy.
So, like, like you and I, we audition.
Yeah.
You can't just pop back from SF, if you're driving. It's a 6-hour trek.
It's crazy.
But here, you can get to Philly. I can get to DC in less hours. I can get to Philly, DC, Delaware, Boston. I can cover a lot more territory. Jersey. Yeah. I can cover so much more territory.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Comics listening. Oh, no, you can't. You can't do that in New York. No. No, don't. I heard Albuquerque. I heard that scene is popping. Heard that New Mexico Comedy Fest.
Am I telling you?
Yeah. Woo, Albuquerque comedy.com / submit. You know what I'm saying?
You hating on the hustle?
Hey, what? Yeah, man. Listen. So Nina, tell them where they can find you and all your stuff. We gotta wrap this shit up because you're giving out too many fucking jams. You can come back another time, but Jesus Christ.
Mike Brown, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
This is great.
Thanks for doing it. Like, it's
really awesome. First of all, I have a show coming out.
Yeah.
Called Models Diet.
Okay. Is this
on YouTube?
Okay. I'll say now, most of our stuff is evergreen, so we don't talk dates in here. But so just let them know where they can find.
It'll be going on for a while.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Let people know where they can find it.
Models Diet will be on YouTube at Nina Daniels on my YouTube channel. My Instagram is the Nina Daniels. My Twitter is at Nina Daniels. And I'm really excited to be here.
I'm happy. Awesome. I'm happy we finally got this done. I think this was a great episode. I think this is like
I mean we kind of covered the gamut.
Yeah, I mean we did some shock.
I mean you brought me you hit me in the head with a hammer.
Bam. Yeah, bars.
Said, bam. Okay.
Yeah. Then we brought it. Yeah. Professional.
We recovered.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah. So that's it. And yeah, you guys know at Yo Mike Brown on everything. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to both Chris's. Shout out to and that's it. Yeah. Peace. Yo, so yeah, that's the episode. Hit up Nina Daniels on everything. Hit me up at Yo Mike Brown on all the socials. Let me know what you think. #YouGoodPod. Want to give a shout out to Chris behind the boards over here. Want to give a shout out tomorrow. It sounds like I said shout out to tomorrow. Chris tomorrow, shout out to him, loudspeakers and everybody. And thanks for listening and sharing and posting. Remember to rate, review, give 5 stars if you want to give 5. If you want to give less, give whatever. But algorithms and all that. I think we're on everywhere. Today is actually the day that we launched. So, you know, you're going to be hearing this out of order. So, like, I don't know. Hopefully these things get better as they go on. But, man, thanks for listening. You Go with Mike Brown and Mental Health Podcast. Peace.